and a fitting tribute by the team in the tower to Dave, Milan, and JB. It's one of those situations where all of us have stories of those three gentlemen. All of us have moments with those three gentlemen, and they will forever be remembered here at the WPMC and at Killarney. My name is Ernest Page, and this is the Lunchtime Show, and this is not Dexter Bruce. In fact, this is Shante de Beer. Shante, we bumped into each other here in the commentary booth overlooking the circuit. But you are with Redbeard Academy, and you guys do a whole bunch of bike things. So you're going to clue me up on what's going on with the bikes, the riders, and what you guys do at Redbeard, if you wouldn't mind.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's really been a pleasure, and what a beautiful day to be here. You know, when the rain pours, everything changes. The whole layout setup just changes completely. So yeah, from Redbeard Riding Academy, we teach guys from never riding a motorcycle. So if you've ever wanted to ride a motorcycle, do you ride? Have you ever ridden?
No, not
Okay.
I'm training on quad bikes at the moment, but I think I need to go from 4 wheels to 2 wheels at some stage.
2 wheels are way more fun.
That's not a bird, but you guys apparently even go on 1 wheel.
We do. So we literally train you from never riding to getting your license, you know, the legal bits. And then we do wheelie courses. Yeah, you literally learn
I've seen
to
that.
wheelie. Have you seen it?
It's like a little
It's
machine
crazy.
that you jump into,
Yes.
the bike in, and then you do these wheelies. It seems a bit crazy, but also fun.
It is fun, and it's also the best and the safest way to practice. You know, rather
Yeah.
than do that than go out there and be a hooligan. And
Yeah, exactly. Because I saw the guys were doing it in the parking lot. You hook this machine up, and now you can practice wheelie safely. Because that's one of those things that you kind of have to practice and not try it in 6th Avenue in Plumstead. And then all of a sudden, you know, things don't go according to plan.
absolutely, and you know what, you can get hurt. And I think from a biker's perspective, your bike can get very hurt, and that's more heartbreaking, and your ego breaks a little bit too.
No,
so
yes.
it's something you do want to try.
So, what brings you here to Killarney today? You're here to watch, enjoy the racing. I know the family's at home watching. So, your husband and son.
My little girl.
Little
I've got
girl.
a little
Okay,
girl
she's
at
watching.
home.
What's this I hear? You're saying she's eating, what's it? Speckled eggs?
She's currently
favorite.
she's eating speckled eggs, watching Paw Patrol. It's the
Okay,
best
watching
of
Paw
both
Patrol
worlds.
and Mom now.
You can't miss out. Yeah.
But what are you doing here? What brings you to Killarney? What brings you to the circuit?
You know what? I've been at the circuit almost every weekend for so long, and to be back after a bit of a while. You know, my husband had a massive motorcycle accident racing in PE end of last year, so it's been a bit quiet being here at Killarney.
Yeah.
And then the guys in the commentary box asked me to come show face a little bit and commentate with the bikes, and it was a ball of a time. And then I got to meet your face.
And
it
now
was
you, yeah,
great.
now
It
you're
was
the face
great.
of this lunchtime show at the moment. Well, but from your perspective, when it comes to the bikes, what are you looking for? What makes you enjoy watching the bikes as a bike fan, as someone a fan of the sport, obviously?
You know, with bikes, it's so different. It's two wheels play a massive effect on how corners are taken. When rain plays effect, wind plays a massive effect too. People tend to forget about that. You know, you're coming out of one corner, the wind's hitting you from the left. You come out another corner, it's hitting you from the front. You have to give a bit more extra. So it's to me, bikes are much more intricate.
She said it.
From my perspective, tire-wise, do you ride slicks? Do you don't? You know.
Well, that's what we spoke to Abby about that earlier on Our Bike Rider, and also one of our co-hosts, and she was saying that they had to go in qualifying with slick tires in the wet, and it made it incredibly difficult.
And you know, even before the race, they were contemplating, are they making the correct decision? Rain came down, everyone put their slicks, took the slicks off, put their rain tires on, and they were actually hoping it would rain just before the race, because the cars went out and dried up that track quite a bit and made it an interesting combination.
So any riders specifically that you look out for, that we should look out for in the second half of today? Because now obviously is the lunchtime show. We've got the parade happening over here at the moment, waiting for the Formula Libres to head out. But from your perspective, any specific riders that we should be looking at?
You know, that's a tough one. There's so many great riders and great riders coming up. I know Nicholas Hutchings, you know, he's really...
We mentioned his name before.
Yeah, you know, he's a kind of guy that he races, he gives it all. And if that means he's either going to win the race or he's going to come off. One of the two. And it's always fun watching. And unfortunately, he did come off today, leading the pack, and came off, and pretty much proves my point.
Oh, no.
And then Abby, obviously, you guys know Abigail Basson. She just came up here and proved that, like, the only goal on the track. I love it. I absolutely love it. Females showing some respect there. And she just came, she did phenomenally well, and she came in from dropping 4 positions and just really, really showing that she can do it.
Well, it's awesome to know that one of our team is representing and flying the flag out there. Abigail, thanks for that. Shante, if we want to listen to you, get hold of you, where can we do that on the socials, etc.?
Redbeard Riding Academy, you can find us on Facebook as well as Instagram and Google as well, and it's easiest way to get our number. We are 06844611188, and it's, you can chat to myself and my husband, Billy De Beer, and Redbeard Riding. My husband looks like our logo. Redbeard Riding Academy.
Billy De Beer, I know that name. I'm sure many people out there do as well. Shante, thanks so much for joining us,
Thank you for having
we'll
me.
chat to you soon.
Thank you.
Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. Shante De Beer from Redbeard Riding Academy. But next up, someone that looks a little bit more familiar than Shante, maybe. Frankie, are you available to have a chat with us quickly? As Shante exits screen, Frankie will be coming through and he will be chatting to us about the today's events so far. Frankie, it's been a heck of a day. The rain really is the equalizer, isn't it?
I'm not the sexiest one sitting next to you anymore, that's for sure. I'm sure the whole team is going to jump in here. But the racing has been fantastic. The opening race of the day was the Formula Libras, and I must say that those four Class S cars just disappeared down the road. Rackstraw,
What
Mitchell.
a battle with Mitchell and Rackstraw.
Yeah, Storm,
they were
Lanphier.
1/10 of a second apart near the end there.
Yeah, well, at the end. But to prove the weather conditions, they were 10 seconds slower around. They'd normally do 1 minute 10s, 1 minute 11s. They were doing 1:22s.
Oh, yeah.
And that was purely the weather conditions, but still, Rackstraw and Mitchell had a fantastic dice out there.
Oh, yeah. And it does look like the circuit's now dried out, but in typical Cape Town fashion, it's been up and down all day. Dry, wet, and we are expecting another downpour as the Koppie starts to slowly hide itself there behind the clouds.
Yeah, well, when that Koppie, as you call it, is gone, then you know this trouble is on the way. But the racing has been fantastic so far. The Clubman's was absolutely brilliant stuff
How
out
good
there.
is Modak looking in that BMW at the moment? They're unstoppable, is in Modak.
Yes, and of course Cody Alberts that tucked in there behind him, and then Shane Smith was involved in a good fight as well with
Even
him.
Jesse Huggett as well.
Jess.
Not near the front like he normally is, but I mean, he's not running a turbo car, he's running a very compact, normally aspirated Jetta.
I had a chat with Jess a long time ago, and he says there's no ways that you can bust out of Class A with that car. You drive it as quick and as hard, as fast as you can, and you're going to stay within the time limits of Class A. He had a good fight with Yusuf Hendricks at one stage and got his nose ahead there.
Yeah, and Yusuf's also running a
Hendricks.
turbocharged BMW. Yusuf himself, though, coming a long way over the last couple of months, having been a new driver quite recently.
And then in the V8s, we were missing a name in Sean Moore. He never came out to race. We only had 11 cars out on track, and that's when the rain came down.
But
Now,
Danny
you
van
got-
Niekerk is a name that's
Donnie
familiar.
Van-
That's there
you know
now.
what? Donnie's one of those drivers. He's like Jess Huggett.
It's in
and
anything.
people like Zach Groenewald, Shane Justice. You
Spin
can
and
put
go.
them in any damn motor car,
Yeah.
and they will do well.
Yeah.
And we lost Kwesi Swanepoel in the Scooby in turn 1, unfortunately. And but the racing was very good. Lovely to see Charles Opperman back again, as I said in the breakfast show. So the racing so far was good. We'll get the rest of the team up, and they can talk about the other classes as well.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
But
indeed.
very,
But
very
from
good.
your perspective today, let's give a vote so far. Driver of the day for you.
Oh, jeez, I haven't even thought about that. We normally wait until the whole race meeting is done, and then you choose somebody. So, I'm not going to stick my head out for that
Not
one
yet.
so
It's
far.
not over yet.
It's not done and dusted
over
yet,
Well, there you go, folks. Frankie from the commentary team. Not a long way to walk this time. Normally you have to go all the way up the stairs. But we're actually setting up camp in your spot at the moment. So thank you for that.
No, it's nice to have you guys in our lounge for a change.
Oh, yes. And what a lounge, what a view as we welcome the next person to join us.
Francois, come join us.
Oh, Francois, the silver. Francois, the youngest on the team here. Young at heart, maybe, but I don't want anything else,
We
Francois.
celebrated the 40th anniversary of my 18th birthday.
Oh, congratulations, congratulations. Francois, today's racing you know, when it rains like this, the stands aren't as full as they usually are, but thankfully we do a live stream, and I think the live stream is going to be pumping at the moment because people are enjoying it from afar. From your perspective though, what do you think is the thing that you are feeling while being here today that you might not be seeing on the live stream?
Well, I think the biggest feeling that one gets is the action trackside in terms of what's happening on the wet. I don't think, well, I'm not saying the viewers don't know this. I mean, they watch F1, they watch MotoGP and all that kind of thing. To see the perspective of the riders and the drivers out there behind the water, that flash of water in front of you, you're doing maybe 150, 160 k's an hour.
200 in the case of some of these
200,
cars.
some of them are down towards a corner, and you can't even see the braking boards. Now you got to guess where do you brake.
And we saw earlier on with the Formula Libre guys, they had some traffic.
Oh,
And apparently it was horrendous because the speed differential between the front leading pack and the back was quite big.
I actually watched Andrew Rackstraw come out of turn 4 with Byron Mitchell right up his exhaust, and then they hit about 7 cars, and they literally, the two of them, stomped on the brakes because you could actually see the cars' noses dive, and then they had to fish their way through the cars. I don't want to be in that car.
Nah.
I don't want to be one of the slow cars.
And you can't see anything, the sprays everywhere, but Formula Libre has leveled up big time today,
Oh, yeah.
thanks to the Joburg contingent.
Not only that, it's also bringing the likes of the Rackstraws and the what have you in it. We'd like more of them to come in. Excuse me. I know a lot of the quicker cars, the Reynolds, the GTIs and that, they are lying, waiting to come.
Well, those 98Es, the I used to race those fantastic race cars, the
Yeah.
98Es. They
Yeah.
were quick enough. They did 15s back in the day. Paul Simon, I think, set the lap record with a 14.7 many years ago.
They were very quick.
They were very quick. Yes, the Formula VWs do 10s and 11s nowadays, but
But that's
certainly they
actually
can
what we
compete.
would like to come back. Remember when we had Formula VWs around here, it was
They
it
set
was
the lap record at one
it was
stage,
the
eh?
cream of the crop.
Yeah.
It's the best open wheeler racing I've ever seen at Killarney in my time, bar the old
David Peddle used to race there and many
David
others.
Corral, all of them, they were there
Yeah.
out there. All the big karting names came to race there. So that was, I mean, Malcolm Cochrane, all those boys, they were
Yeah.
all out there. You know, the Wibirski, Scott Wibirski,
Yes,
they were all
correct,
part of it,
yeah.
the DAWs. But that was the pinnacle to me of open wheel motorsport. When that went away, it's almost like it fizzled away.
It kind of fizzled because one of the things that South Africa historically has had an issue with is the feeder series to international series.
Yeah.
Now, though, I mean, we've got competitors here that compete in the SAES, South African Endurance Series, etc. And it's one of those, thankfully now we've got feeder series to take guys overseas. We've got options for them to drive sports cars. We've got options for them to drive GT3 cars.
Excuse me.
And they can finally now drive a car in South Africa, go to Europe, and not drive something completely different. That's what was good about Formula VW, was it was effectively a Formula 3 car,
Formula 3
where
car, yeah.
drivers could get used
They
to the
went
car.
from Formula VW to Formula Renault and then on to Formula
Yeah.
2 and 1, yeah.
But then unfortunately that's faded away. The heyday, and I've had this conversation this morning with someone in the lounge downstairs. An interesting one. I'd love to get your take on this. Claudio Piazza Musa and I were chatting, and he was saying many people say that motorsport South Africa now is not as vibrant as it was, and I certainly believe that top flight professional motorsport in the 80s and 90s was at its best.
Definitely.
But in 2023, there are many opportunities to go racing. It's not the professional level necessarily, but if you could do Gymkhana, drag racing, rallycross, spinning, GTI Challenge, SAES,
Anything.
etc.,
I
I
think-
think now's the best time to get into motorsport.
And I think I'm also very fortunate. Let's not always think about the now. You asked my take. Think about tomorrow. There's the tomorrow, karting.
100%.
Okay, this is where everyone must get their kids into karting. We look at now a youngster that's just gone over to Europe to go race now in the ADAC Masters. Quantum Mokwena.
Yeah.
Ex-karter, the other day he was a karter.
Yes.
Now he's there.
And also champion in the South African Endurance Series.
Correct. He's a champion here with Rackstraw, who we saw
Yes.
today. Him and Rackstraw set the lap record in the SA Endurance Series. So they out there. They've now gone overseas. Rackstraw's been overseas. He's got a taste of riding
He
overseas.
did some LMP3
We've got
testing.
the Van der Lindes, we've got the
Of
Perels,
course.
we've got
Yeah.
the Aberdeens. They're all ex-karters.
Yeah.
Karting is, we can say what we like, that is the ground rule.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I've started to see that close up now, chatting to guys like Jono, that's also raced, and all from a karting background. But let's say you don't have karting, and I've had this conversation with Claudia as well. Let's say you don't have international racing aspirations, but you do just want to race. There is the element of just racing for enjoyment, isn't there?
oh, there is definitely. I mean, you can basically go out there and pick up a. I'm going to say, for argument's sake, I've been looking recently at E36 BMW for 30 grand.
Well.
No, I'm
Look
just
who's
using it.
joining
Yeah,
us.
yeah, maybe. I just don't
You
want
know
to
where
put
to find us at the
I don't want to
Rallycross
put you in the
side
eyes.
of things. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
the
appreciate that.
yeah. The E36, I mean, 35,000 rand, and you got to put in a roll cage and go race.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it effectively, and you don't have to
That's
do
what I
too
did.
much. I mean, I know a lot of you guys don't even worry about fancy tires. You go pick up second hands on the pits and
Now
you go
that's
burn them
gotten
up.
fancy. Now Dexter's
Ah,
beating
no.
me so much. I needed to get fancy tires to try and keep up.
Yeah, I saw you running around Burgundy testing your car. It's not allowed. But fortunately, the security company,
Yeah,
the 1300 can't catch you.
JP didn't see me that
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
thankfully. One more thing before we go, and I see Gazza's just pulled up here. I'd love to hear from him and get his take as well. One more thing from you. What are you looking forward to most after the lunch break today?
I think once again, as I normally do, the bike races, the classic cars, and I don't know how many of the cars are going to come out for the Onsa AC100, the 31 lapper. It is. I was here yesterday and I saw a couple of the machines parked in the garage, and
Yeah.
some of them go out onto circuit.
Big power cars there.
Yeah, big power.
Big power in sketchy conditions. The circuit looks bone dry now, though.
Yeah, but you know what it's like putting a 350Z into turn 2 or Porsche 991 GT3 RS.
Oh my goodness
It's carrying
me.
about 800 horses.
Oh
you know
my
what I mean?
goodness
Yeah,
me.
yeah. It's going to be different, but we'll see how that one goes. Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Endurance racing or like longer race, about 31 laps is effectively not even as long as the Formula One, so it's quick.
Yeah, it's quick.
I mean,
But for them, it's quite
Aussie-
long. When you're driving the car yourself,
I actually worked out the other day. We had Aussie V8s here on this circuit. They would do 34 laps.
wow.
Then the race is done.
Okay.
Because, I mean, this is a 3.1 kilometer circuit. There are some of the Aussie circuits only 2.4 Ks.
Wow. So they're running on club circuits as well.
All club circuits over there.
Oh, wow.
The only non-club circuit in Australia is Melbourne, which is the Formula One street
One,
later.
yeah.
That's it.
Interesting how they make even those club circuits look glamorous, eh?
Well,
just
with a
shows
bit
you.
of money and paint and a few flowers,
They
anything
can,
can be
make, they
glamorous.
can make even us look glamorous. I
well,
hope.
with makeup, I'm sure.
Well,
That stuff.
Francois, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome, Ernest.
If you wouldn't mind, I know you don't like sharing the mic, but if you wouldn't mind sharing the mic with Gaza for
No,
the
no, I'm
change.
going to share it because this chair's not big enough. But Gary,
We got Gaza coming into the shot now,
Gary,
the
pull him, bud.
commentator from Killarney Raceway. Gaza, this jacket, is it kind of like your personality, dual personality, depending on what race is happening?
You've been to Samola Hill Climb?
Yes.
You will understand. Samola Hill Climb 2023, utterly amazing. Lara Classic Cars, one of the sponsors
Yeah,
here,
what an event, eh?
making these jackets available to us. So this part is me and this part is somebody else. But wow, it was amazing. But,
Highlight of the calendar, definitely.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. But there was a lot of talk before we came into today as a possibility of will the meeting be cancelled? No,
Nah, not a
there's not
chance.
sissies at the circuit.
I got a message, I'm going to say from who? From Dexter, right? This
Oh, is he
morning.
from Dexter?
From Dexter.
Well, we won't say that on
Yeah,
air.
we won't say his name
But
on
that,
air.
that part's muted, obviously.
Yeah. And this morning he tells me turn 3 is going to be flooded. I don't care if turn 3 is flooded. We're racing today.
Then
It's
you ride
race
around
day.
the outside of it.
You ride around the outside of it. It's race day today. And I love the fact that this is what it's about. The guys push through. It's the determination. It's the not willing to give up. We're here to race today. The points at stake and the guys are out. Rain, shine, it doesn't matter.
Commentators curse, we're not going to prove you wrong, because if you look behind that camera and you
I
see
know.
what's coming
Dark
there,
clouds, eh?
it's half of Antarctica that's on its way
Dark
towards
clouds,
us.
and you can actually see the rain falling over
Yeah.
there.
No,
in the
pretty heavy.
background. It's going to be. I think it's going to be storming after the break. And for me, I've always said I do like racing in the rain from time to time, but I really enjoy watching racing in the rain.
Frankie always says to me, I may not say it, but I say it out loud and I will stand by it. I love it when it rains because
Yes.
it's an equaling factor.
Of course.
Or it creates disaster,
The
or
ultimate
it creates
equalizer.
chaos, or it creates a combination of all three. And at the end of the day, to my mind, as long as it doesn't become dangerous for the bikers out there
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
for the guys that are riding with slicks and have got no other option, I love it when it rains.
Well, it's a spectacle for us as spectators, yeah, and it's a challenge for those that are competing.
It's a challenge for us up top here because when the rain comes with the window, we can't see much either.
Well, at least it's warm up here, I've got to say. I do like this seat. Of course, folks, we are in the commentary booth. If none of this looks familiar, my name is Ernest Page, and I'm joined here by the man on the mic, Gazza. If they've heard the voice before, I'm sure. Gaz, I've got to say, I'm enjoying what you guys with your singing show with the sim racing. I tune in every now and then to support my guys. I see Jury Swart is doing exceptionally well. A couple of very popular names. We've got Peter van der Spey here, also that competes in the Masters category. He's joining us on top here today. How's that going? And if someone wants to get involved with that, how do they do that?
Well, let's put it this way. Came COVID, came a new way of life in South Africa. We realized that there was a thing called iRacing. We got involved with it, Frankie and myself, initially with a inferior form, if you want to call it that, of motorsport, which was on the same basis where you on your computer you linked into a program with a Assetto Corsa. One thing led to another. Eventually we were approached by Dr. Mike Verrier, who's not racing this season. He's
He of course races
busy with
the Shelby Can-Am. He's driven
Used
up
to.
the hill climb. He sold that car. The car was for sale last I saw.
and he's now doing endurance series as well, so he'll be
What's
joining.
he driving nowadays? Right?
Man, I'm not sure which car
Because
he's
if that
actually
Shelby
using
is
at the
sold,
moment.
then he must have something else. That's
No,
very
he's got
fast.
other toys. He's,
Okay,
in fact, he bought a Getz that he used in Clubman's not that long ago. So SA Endurance Series next week, Saturday, at Aldous Grabanti. Peter and his crew with Byron Mitchell then will be there. Frankie and myself going up to do GTI Challenge. Fly up the morning, come back the evening. It's going to be great. But coming back to the question that you actually asked, the iRacing. So yeah, the iRacing started out, it's sort of like the pinnacle of internet motorsport as such.
It's such a good
It's not cheap, but
so
then again,
good.
it attracts the best of the best of the best top racers in South Africa.
Yeah.
Trudolenchik,
Yeah.
Rookie of the Year,
Yes.
Investec 1600 Formula Fords.
Tristan
This
Denobreger
year,
in there.
leading
Chase
the
Herald
class.
in there.
Chase Herald's in there. Oompie Swart, Nathan Victor, Johan Ferree, multiple South African V8 champion.
couldn't believe it.
Nati and
I
Samangi in there as well. You name it, they're all there.
I actually asked, is that the real Johan Ferree when I was watching that?
It is the real Johan Ferree, and he goes up against the best of the best.
Well,
and
there is someone here that's standing with I'd love to have a chat to, and that is Peter van der Spey. He races in the series as well.
he is one of the top guys for West Bromwich Sports and GT Masters, which
I spoke
was...
to him a year ago, or 2 years ago could have been. He says, you have to check my sim rig out today.
You must check the Simmerig. It's down in the, shall we call it Dad's Man Cave, which is up in town with a beautiful view all over Cape Town. And the bar counter is actually the rear aileron of a aeroplane.
Because he's a pilot, of course.
Because he's a pilot.
Yeah.
There's a couple of other lovely toys that's laying around there. And then in the corner is this massive sound system. And inside this massive sound system is this massive rig. And the first time that I climbed on there, went down into the first corner and I went straight. He says, you must press the brake
Yeah, the
pedal.
middle
So I
pedal,
said,
eh?
no, I pressed it. He says, no, you don't understand. You get a gymnasium and you get an iRacing rig. When you set up an iRacing rig,
Yeah.
that's the same as a fancy racing car. The pedal is hard.
No, they set it up very hard.
Went down into turn number 2 and I broke a sweat and I still ran off the track. He says, you don't understand.
Yeah,
Stand
you gotta-
on the pedal.
The newtons that are required, they put special load
Crazy.
cells on there. It's insane.
I think that pedal at that stage was set up around about 80 kilograms. And if you've got 7 corners, that's 7 times in a minute and a half that you've got to press 80 kilograms
Yeah.
with 1 foot. Then they want to do 45-minute races.
Nuts.
So, yeah, Peter sold his gym rig and he just kept the iRacing
So when
rig
is your
there.
next iRacing event?
First weekend of the month, GT3 IRSA iRacing South Africa Motorsport South Africa. That's got 60,000
This coming
rands
Wednesday?
worth. Yeah, this coming
Okay,
Wednesday. It's the
okay.
first Wednesday of every month. 60,000 rands worth of prize money, and in fact, that
Jeez.
prize money was handed over at the Kalani Motor Show last year. Was down here with the gig rig that we did that. And this year, once again, 60,000 rands worth of prize money. Then the next group, the Pro-Am Series, which is the next after the top 40 in South Africa. That's the Porsche Cup. That's the second the second Wednesday of every single month. And then from there on out, there's 2 more rounds still to go. And then from there on out, we'll be running on a Monday Clear Cup, the one that Frankie doesn't miss. He arrives there 3 hours before the time,
Excited?
uses up up all my ice, drinks up all my Coke before the race even starts. But it's brilliant stuff, the Clio Cup.
exciting to
and
watch.
then the new series, we've done 8 seasons already of West Brom Sports and GT Masters. It's now been decided to bring some of the youngsters, Umpi Swart, Nathan Victor, Chase Herald, Byron Mitchell, all of these guys into it as well. And that's going to be starting from week 3 of August 2023.
Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up. I've got 2 more people I'd really love to talk
One of
to.
them is Peter van der Spy.
Yeah.
You'd love that.
I know. He's
You'll
very
love it
right.
too.
Yeah. Any final thoughts from you going into the rest of today?
A big thumbs up to all the marshals at Killarney International Raceway and the folks downstairs. Brilliant job, everything organized.
Yeah.
And then also a big thumbs up to IMUSAT bringing you this coverage, doing massive amounts of homework in the background.
Are the new cameras working out for you guys?
Actually, very well.
Nice.
There was a couple of gaps in between. We had a bit of a hassle this morning to sort out 1 or 2 of the cameras.
But we are trying to level that up.
It is getting a whole heap better, and I believe by the end of 2023 we will be the leading main circuit live stream in South Africa from a month-to-month basis. So I'm USAT, big thumbs up. And to what you and Dex do as well. Even my wife watches, and she doesn't even watch motorsport. So thank you very much to you guys.
Absolute pleasure. We love to do it. There we go, folks. Gaza, the man on the mic. You'll be hearing him coming up very shortly. And now we chat to Peter van der Spy. Peter, I'm not sure if you came up here for an interview, but I saw you in your signature jacket, and I
No, I
thought, you know
didn't.
what, let me
I
just have a
didn't.
chat
Nice to
to
see
you.
you again, Ernest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice to see you too, man. I saw your name on. I always see you on the leaderboard of the sim racing stuff. You're taking this stuff very seriously. You've also got other toys in the real world, but you seem to be doing both.
Yeah, but the sim racing is more interesting for me. You know, I think my bike riding and car riding and all that took a second place.
Wow.
From when I got this damn sim, you know, we got it during lockdown. You know, Gazza was explaining that lockdown came and we all sat bored and okay, let's build rigs.
Yeah.
And it's damn entertaining, I must say. You know, so I love it.
And iRacing is so realistic, eh? I've been
It's
practicing on
unbelievably
iRacing. It's
real.
amazing.
Yeah. You know, I used to go past, you know, before iRacing, every time I used to fly past London, I used to go to a place called iZone, and it's in Silverstone. It's where all the professional drivers go and sharpen up, and they do it in simulators.
Yeah.
And that's where I got a really fancy to simulators, because every time I used to go and do that simulator for a couple of hours, I'd come back to Killarney
Feel sharper,
and I'd be a second off my time, you
You
know.
feel sharper. It really does improve the breed, doesn't it?
Well, there's no ways that you can't, that point can be argued, because look at Max Verstappen, for
Yeah.
example.
One of the best world's best sim racers and
He's the
Formula 1
world
champion.
champion. And, you know, I watched an interview with him recently, and he says he does 50 hours of sim racing before every race. 50 hours. So if you've got 1 week before races, that's 10 hours a day.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's the world champion in that.
And we, unfortunately, with the rallycross, we don't get to practice the dirt. I've been practicing the dirt in iRacing, and the changing, I shouldn't tell my competitors this, but the changing conditions can be simulated on iRacing. But you can't do that anywhere else other than the real world.
Yeah. You need to come and show me about dirt racing on my
Yeah,
sim.
yeah.
I've got the gear shift and everything, but I've never tried it.
Nice. Yeah, we should,
Yeah.
I definitely would love to do that. We're going to
Yeah.
chat to Kez Naidu after this, but before you go, any closing thoughts from you? How are you enjoying the racing today? And
It's
you're
phenomenal.
not driving today?
I'm not driving because I've saved my car for the SAS race
which is
next
next
week.
week, eh?
Yeah.
Big one, eh?
You know,
It's a 4 hours of PE, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, and you know we're doing pretty well at the moment. We're in the running at the moment, so we're focusing on that. You know, obviously it's a South African championship, so
Yes.
it's very important not
And it's
to
got national status now.
national status. I'm not sure what we'll get if we win. Do you get a
Just another
Springbok?
trophy
Do you get
for
a
the
Springbok
mantle.
jacket or
Hey,
what?
oh, that
You
would be
get,
nice, eh? That would
you know,
be
it'd be nice
nice.
to get provincial colours, wouldn't it?
Yes.
It's supposed to be on the cards, but yeah. So we don't want to risk our car today. You know, I mean, anything can happen. So,
Yeah.
and we've been working around the clock to get our car prepared, and we got all the big guns there next week.
I know.
So yeah,
It's
and
gonna be a big one.
A lot of them aren't racing today either.
I saw
you know,
the
yeah.
provisional, some of the entries that are on there. It's going to be a fantastic one. Check it out, the Port Elizabeth event next week, the 4 hours of PE. There will be a live stream, I'm not mistaken, on the SAS
Yeah, absolutely.
Facebook and YouTube channel. So check that out. Thank you so much for joining us, Peter. I know we just pulled you in.
No,
and I
that's,
appreciate
that's
your
always,
time.
it's always good to chat to you guys.
Good luck next
Loving
week.
it. Love the stream, by the way. I watched
Thank
it this morning on the
Thank
YouTube.
you for your continued support. We appreciate it.
Beautiful.
There you go, Peter van der Spy flying in and out to Cape Town. Someone that's going to be flying in quickly, Kez Naidu. Join us over here on the hot seat. I'm more excited to speak to Kez this time than I normally am. Normally, we just kind of walk past each other and just like 1 or 2 words. But now, it's the All-Star next week. I'm entering as well. It's the event that many Cape Townians are talking about. We've been looking forward to this for a long time. Kez, tell us about the altar.
How's it, Ernest? How's the viewers? Thanks for having me. Yeah, this was absolutely unplanned.
Good.
I'm sure you wanted some inside info, but
Yes!
it's right there in your eyes view.
Yeah.
I think firstly the entries are looking spectacular.
40 plus, I've heard, eh?
We are on about 35 at the moment.
I've heard there's
think
a couple
we're
that haven't
expecting
entered yet.
about another 3 more, so
Okay,
it's really awesome.
okay.
I think this is the entry that we've been looking for. And it's what we've had in the past couple of years, so
Yeah.
we're grateful.
When
and-
Riche Moodley was here and those guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
So really a good couple of years ago, we had some good entries and some good attraction from the circuit racing. When I say
Do you mind
circuit
just holding
racing,
that up there? I know you're
s-
new to this public speaking thing. Actually,
sorry,
not
no,
at
I
all.
haven't done this before. I apologize. I'm so super nervous. So the circuit racing guys, we used to have a lot of the GTI club, your clubmans.
Yes.
Yeah. But now, what surprised us quite nicely is the attraction of the rallycross.
Oh, yeah. The Rallycross
So
Mana are
I
committed,
think
eh?
that's definitely something the viewers needs to come out and have a look and support the rallycross.
Especially
and
the
what you guys are
E36
doing.
Cup
Yeah.
guys. The E36 Cup guys like putting on a show. And they are going to come here to have fun. Then their cars aren't necessarily the fastest because they're set up to be loose. They're set up to be
excuses now,
difficult to
Ernest.
drive. No, I'm not part of the E36 Club, eh? I'm in Class B. Our cars are set up to go.
Okay, you need to take them
I'm
on.
supposed to go fast. If I go slow, then that's on me.
Yeah.
But the E36 Cup guys, they love putting on a show. So I'm looking forward to that because if you remember back in the day, to go watch rallying back in the day, we went there to watch Hannes Grobler in the skyline.
Yes.
Sometimes people didn't know who won the race, but you waited and waited till the slowest three-wheel drive car came past. He was often right to the back, but he came through sideways.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. I want to see lots of guys putting on the show. There are going to be guys going for time, of course.
Yeah.
But I think there are going to be a couple of guys that are just there to have fun.
I think there's going to be a lot of guys having fun, and the sideways action is definitely going to be there, especially with the BMs. I mean, you're probably looking at about more than 10 rear-wheel drive BMWs
Nice.
at the moment that are super fast, so there's going to be some competitiveness to it. But also, I think the sideways action is inevitable, especially with the rallycross track, with a bit of the gravel
Yeah.
that we're going to be touching on. And weather doesn't look too favorable for us.
No, the
from,
weather
from
looks
a
fine.
wet on the tar. It's not something we're used to. More on
Yeah.
gravel, yes.
No, but I heard it's not raining on the weekend. It might have some showers.
Okay.
Some of the names that we're looking at, Gavin Surf is tipped to come through.
Yes, I believe so. I'm waiting for his entry.
And from the rally side, who are the names that we can look forward to? I know there's some very fast. The Sassmans are back. Keenan Sassman's back. Clint Sassman might be back as well, I think.
Not sure yet what their plans are at the moment, but if they do enter, it will be with their BMW, which will probably be Keenan.
Okay. Emil
definitely.
Shaw also driving
Emil
as well.
Shaw is with his
Previous
BM.
stage winner, if
Yep.
I'm not mistaken. And from your perspective, who are some of the fast names right to the top of that list as well
So
from
on
the rally
the, on
side?
the rallying section, you've got Llewellyn Jones.
Yes,
in
the
the
previous
Subaru.
winner.
Yeah. Owen Jones as well in the Subaru.
His father is his son.
Cousins.
Cousins. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So they're quite competitive with each
Very
other.
fast, both of them.
In their class in the S5, and then you've got the BMWs that's chasing them as well.
Kwesi
in the
as
S5.
well?
Kwesi is there.
Kwesi Swanepoel.
Kwesi Swanepoel, Ines with his rear-wheel drive BM, Warren's,
Ines is so
Warren
fast.
Kohler. Ines is very fast.
Give me some tips because that BM is flying
So
at
probably
the
we're missing
moment.
out on Wagner. You couldn't make it. I think his
Oh,
car's still
man.
busy on repairs. Then you've also got Warren Scholes in another Subaru. So your four-wheel drives are there. And then ironically, you've mentioned Hannes Grobler and Winston Neethling. He's actually got a Hannes Grobler X-Centra four-wheel
Is
drive.
the Centra up and running
So
now?
it's up and running,
Okay.
and I just confirmed with him this morning. So yeah, we're hoping to see him there. So that's going to be nice for him.
I saw some old footage of Winston back in the day, sideways out
No,
of the
he's,
start there.
he can pedal, and that car is really nice to hear. The sound is phenomenal.
Nice.
And his son is joining him for the first time, so that's going to be nice. Those are your big boys in terms of power-wise. Then you also got Ishmael and Yusuf coming in there with the S2000. So they Surge Damso prepared S2000. So that's
Wow.
going to be quite a nice
Yusuf
little-
Amle, eh?
Ishmael.
Ishmael, of
Davids.
course. Sorry, I
Yeah.
apologize. Yes,
Ishmael
of course. Yeah, Ishmael Davids, yes.
So that's the S2000, which
Ishmael Davids has been making waves. I mean, he's got some crazy cars. He's been
Yeah.
committed to the rally side of things. He's loving it.
He hasn't rallied this year yet, so this is good for him to come in.
Nice to come back, yeah.
And I think just
Last year he did a full season, I'm not mistaken.
he did a few events last year, yeah.
Okay,
He did a few events.
I think what I'm seeing is also just the media presence of someone like Ishmael Davids. He does a lot of videos and things like that. So someone like me that's not necessarily on the scene gets to know a lot about these things. But we're going to wrap this up as the Ons Hayes event is about to start. Kes Naidu, thanks so much for joining us. I, for one, am very much looking forward to the Altar next week at Killarney. The Altar race is the 5th of next month. I'm not going to forget that date. Thanks so much for organizing everything, and we appreciate everything you do.
Welcome.
Man.
Thank you, guys.
Kes
Cheers.
Naidu from the CCMCC, who are organizing the event happening next week, the Altar. Well, we're going to wrap this up and send it on back over to the commentary team. My name is Ernest Page, joined earlier by Shante de Beer and others. We will chat to you guys very shortly, but for now, it's over to the commentary team. Let's go racing.